Hello. So today we're going to talk about the 5 steps it's going to take to get your Pensionado visa. We know that Panama is a very popular place for retirees, and one of the main reasons is because of the Pensionado visa. This is a visa that you can get when you retire from whatever your particular job is. So today I'm going to talk to you about the 5 steps how I became a permanent resident here in Panama. For those that don't know me, my name is Mary Golf, and I am a retired corporate expat living my best life here in Panama. My channel is all about empowering, supporting, and motivating Black women over 50 to live their best lives. And we do that here by sharing relocation and moving abroad tips. We talk about travel, and we also talk about health and wellness because if you're not healthy and you're not doing well, then you cannot live your best life. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure you hit the like and subscribe and the notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about the 5 easy steps that you can take to become a permanent resident and get your Pensionado visa here in Panama. Now, I'm going to be looking down to make sure I don't forget anything because I've had some very important tips for you as well. Okay, so now you have watched my Why Panama video. You've also taken a look at my scouting trip video. So now let's talk about the ways you can become a resident here in Panama. I chose the Pensionado visa because I am a retiree with a lifetime pension income. One of the benefits, there's so many benefits of the Pensionado visa, but just a few of them. The most popular one for me, the one that I love, is 25% off airline tickets. Can you believe that? There's also 25% off your utility bills, food. You get 50% off entertainment and a host of other benefits that we'll talk about in detail in another video. But today, let's focus on how to become a resident, how to get your Pensionado visa, okay? So step one, and you're also, before we talk about step one, you're probably thinking, do I even need a visa to come to Panama? Well, actually, you don't. You can be in Panama for up to 180 days with a tourist visa. However, this is not a long-term solution because some people come to Panama for a few months, they border hop over to Colombia, and then they come back to Panama. And some people are doing this for a year or two. I don't know. But just know that if you are a border hopper, okay, and you don't have permanent residency here, you're taking the risk of being denied entry at immigration. So it's your risk to take, all right? But today we're going to focus on having residency and in particular the Pensionado visa. Okay, step one, make sure you hire a reputable attorney, okay? So you can get referrals from other expats that are here. You can go into Facebook groups. Whatever you do, make sure you get a good referral. The cheapest attorney is not always the best attorney, neither is the most expensive attorney always the best attorney. I was talking to an expat who paid 3 times the price that I paid for my Pensionado visa 2 years ago. And she still did not get everything done that she was supposed to do. All right. I contacted 3 different attorneys. When I was deciding on an attorney, the first attorney was very detailed, initially told me everything I needed to do in order to get my Pensionado visa. The second attorney, he actually was focused on money a lot and wanted like a payment up front. So that kind of like didn't sit well with me. And the other attorney, the third attorney, I thought the price was just a little too steep. So all of these attorneys were referred by other expats, but based on my personal preference, I went with Kathy L, which we'll have more details about her later. But anyway, so that's the attorney that I chose to get my Pensionado visa. So make sure you are choosing a reputable attorney to get your process done and make sure everything is clear with the fees, what's included. Make sure all of that is very detailed. Okay, so let's go to step 2 here. Okay, so step 2 is you are going to gather your documents. Yes, you're going to gather your documents. Okay, so step 2 is to gather your documents. These are the list of documents that you are going to need to process your Pensionado visa. Now, these might vary just a little bit per attorney. So, whatever your attorney tells you that you need, then that's what you need to process your Pensionado visa. I'm giving you examples of what was told to me when I processed my Pensionado visa about 2 years ago. All right. So I needed to have an FBI report, basically an FBI letter stating that I did not have a criminal background. There was no criminal history on me. So you're going to need that done. You're also going to need a recent pension letter. Now, based on where this is coming from, you can talk to your attorney about that. It can be military pension, government pension, it could be Social Security, whatever it is, but the minimum amount has to be at least $1,000. So you have to have minimum, you have to be receiving at least $1,000 a month for a lifetime. And the letter has to state in there that this is for a lifetime because that's the main qualification for the Pensionado visa. Okay, something else that you're going to need is 8 passport photos. Okay, you're going to need that for your processing. You're also going to need, of course, a current passport. You're going to need that as well. And you're going to need proof that you reside in Panama. Now, some people didn't have to show this, some people did. It's going to depend on your attorney. It could be maybe a letter from a bank, you opening up a bank account here in Panama. It could be your rental contract for your apartment. Whatever documents you need, talk to those with your attorney. Okay, so one thing, a very good tip about the documents, make sure all of the documents that are coming from abroad, make sure they cannot be older than 6 months. Okay? So if you're not ready to process your Pensionado visa, don't be trying to get no FBI letter. Don't be trying to get no pension letter because everything, the clock starts counting, those 6 months start counting after you get your documents. So if this is something you're not going to do for a year or so, don't get that information now because by the time you process, you're going to have to do it again because it's no longer going to be good. Okay? So keep that in mind. Um, Also, wanted to talk about when you're processing your documents, which is our next step, step 3, make sure you get all of your processing done in the United States prior to coming to Panama. It will make your life a whole lot easier. I just recently saw someone in our group, our sisterhood group here in Panama, Black Women Expats in Panama, saying that they're having trouble trying to get fingerprints here while they're in Panama. They're trying to get their visa processed. So take my advice, get all of your documents done before you arrive to Panama. And I'm going to share with you the resources that I use to get my documents processed, okay? So we're on step 3. We're talking about processing these documents that you need. Okay, so for the FBI report, in order for the FBI to do a background on you, they're going to need a set of fingerprints, okay? And that's what you're going to be sending to them so they can check to find out if you're a criminal or not. Now, several ways you can get fingerprints. You're going to have to check in your particular area. I was in a small town at the time. I did not have a fingerprint processing center. The post office was not doing fingerprints. So what I did was I went to the local sheriff's department. They had processing days where they were processing fingerprints for background investigations for anybody who needed one. So it was like a couple of hours each day. You didn't have to make an appointment. You just got there, stood in line, and got your fingerprints done. So I got my fingerprints done at a local sheriff's department. Okay? So make sure your fingerprints are done by either somebody reputable who knows what you're doing, and make sure you don't make any mistakes, because you don't want your fingerprints rejected by the FBI. I've heard of that being done before because they didn't really understand the machine they were using and they did it by themselves, and the fingerprints were not done properly. So make sure they're done properly. Okay. So what you're going to do with that fingerprint card is on the FBI website, which I'm going to put the link in my description, they have third party channelers, approved third party channelers. These are companies that they have approved to process those fingerprints. Companies that they're like a third party. You send your cards to them, they send the cards to the FBI, the FBI send the reports back to them, and then they send you the report. Okay? So I use a third party company to process my fingerprints. And I'm going to put the link to the third party company that I use. You're going to be getting a one-page statement from the FBI that's going to say yay or nay whether or not you have a criminal history or not. Okay? The fingerprint company that I use, the third party FBI approved channeler, was called Accurate Biometrics. AccurateBiometrics.com. I will put the link in my description. That's a company that you can use if you choose to do so. Now, that particular FBI letter that you got that says you are not a criminal, your pension letter that you got from your particular company, your retirement company, those documents have to be authenticated by the Department of State or a consulate in Panama. Now, I did not live near a Panama consulate. I was not near the Department of State office. So once again, I use a third party company to get my documents apostle. Now, your attorney is going to tell you exactly what needs to be apostle. They're going to check your documents before you even send them off to get them authenticated, because they want to make sure you got the right document. You don't want to waste your money sending incorrect documents to get it authenticated, okay? So the office that I use to get my documents authenticated is a small family business. They're right there in Virginia. It's called monumentvisa.com. Now, I was recently on their website, and it looks like now they are also processing fingerprints as well. So it's like a one-stop shop. You can get your fingerprints processed for the FBI. You can get your FBI report done there, and you can also get those documents authenticated in one place. Okay? Make sure you read the instructions. Reach out to the people that work at Monument Visa. They are very helpful, very nice people. So don't take my word for it. Send the information to them. Get your questions answered before you send in your money. But they're all very fast. They get the stuff done in a timely manner, and they send it back to you with no problem. Okay? So any documents that you need, I'm going to say this again. Any documents that you need, fingerprints, FBI report, pension letter, passport photos, anything that you need, get it done in the States before you come to Panama. Okay, just to make your life a whole lot easier. Okay, so step 4 is submitting your documents to the attorney. Okay, so now that you've got everything authenticated, you got your FBI letter done, you got your pension letter, you got your passport photos, you got whatever you need that the attorney says you need, you got it all ready to go, okay? Some people carry the documents with them. You're going to have your appointment with your attorney. You're going to be turning those documents. You're going to be signing the application for the Pensionado visa. You're going to be paying your attorney fees. All of these things are going to be done when you come to Panama. So you will be making an appointment with your attorney. And like I said, make sure those documents are not older than 6 months because they will not be able to accept them. Okay? So once you get all your documents here, you've made your appointment with your attorney, you're signing your application, you're paying your attorney fees. Make sure you allow yourself at least 2 weeks because it's going to take them a little time to process your application and set up your immigration attorney appointment to start the process for your permanent visa. Okay, so keep all that in mind. And the best advice I can give you is to have contact with your attorney. If you have any questions about anything, as far as documents, timeline, or anything, make sure you are in contact with your attorney. I see people in our group who will have a question that clearly should go to their attorney. Don't take advice from somebody in a group. You got a question about your particular immigration process, your Pensionado visa, go straight to the source, to the person that's processing it. Okay? Don't get third party information about that. Okay, so the last step in processing your Pensionado visa is to go to the immigration office. Okay, so now we're on step 5 where you are so excited. You've got all this stuff done. You have your appointment at the immigration office. Okay, it's normally going to be your attorney or your attorney's assistant who's going to meet you at the immigration office. Okay, now the attorney is going to get there, or the assistant is going to get there before you. They're already going to have your number for you to wait in line. So you're going to sit and wait until your name is called, which won't probably take too long, depending on how busy the office is. And you're going to go take your photo for your ID, and you're also going to sign your name. Now, this is very important. Before you go, take a look at your signature on your passport. Well, you're going to be turning in your passport when you're at your attorney's office, okay? So prior to that, prior to turning in your passport, take a photo of your signature or something like that, all right? Make sure you can sign your Pensionado visa application at the immigration office the same way you can sign on your passport. If the signatures do not match, they're going to have a problem. You're going to have to make sure your signature is pretty close or the same to that signature on your passport. It cannot be completely different, okay? I didn't have that problem, but one of my friends had the problem. She had not even looked at her signature on her passport, who knows how long, and just tried to sign something really quick, and they were like, no, those signatures do not even match. So make sure you take a look at your passport signature so when you get there, you can sign the same thing. Okay, so you're at the immigration office, you signed all your paperwork, you got your photo done, and all that good stuff. So now, what you're doing is basically waiting to get your information. You're waiting to get your first step is your temporary ID. This temporary ID is good for at least 6 months, but you're going to get your card before that, but this is good for 6 months. That's what you're going to get first, your temporary ID. Once your permanent visa is processed, you're going to get your permanent visa card. Okay, this is step 2. Okay, but listen, do not stop at step 2. Make sure you get, this is your final step. Make sure you get your e-cedula. E-cedula. E stands for extranjera, which means foreigner in Panama. Okay, this card is the official national identification document. It's the official document for permanent residency here in Panama. You need to have your e-cedula. Make sure when you're getting your process for your Pensionado visa, it includes the e-scheduler. This is like the platinum card. Once you have this, it has an E on it. That means you're a foreigner, permanent resident here in Panama. This is the card you should finally end up with. There were some expats that I know, that their Pensionado visa process did not include the e-scheduler. Now, I thought it was an automatic thing because mine was included when I got my process done. But there were several people, the one expat that I mentioned in the beginning, who has spent 3 times the amount of getting her Pensionado visa done, it did not include the e-scheduler. She didn't know anything about the e-scheduler. Okay, so whatever attorney you're using, make sure you're getting your e-scheduler. Okay, so now that we have got all that stuff done, I'm also going to be attaching an interview that I had with my attorney that I use, Kathy Ferguson from PTY Lawyers. I will attach an interview, and you can see the different type of visas that are offered. You can see the question and answer period that we had. I will be attaching that to this video. And the next video I'm probably going to be doing, I'm going to talk about more in detail the benefits of the Pensionado visa. So hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any suggestions or any comments, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. It's a free way of supporting my channel. And let me know if there's any questions that I can answer. Please, I'm not an attorney. I am not an immigration lawyer, so I cannot answer any personal legal questions. However, I can talk to you about general information. So I'm just sharing my process with you so you'll know what to look at when you're processing your Pensionado visa. Once again, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you and hope to see you at one of our meetups, Black Women Expats in Panama. Whatever residency you're trying to get, good luck to you and hope to see you soon. Thank you so much.